Okay, so we have one more thing to add to graphing sine and cosine, and that is a vertical shift. So moving the graph up and down. Your quiz on sine and cosine will be on Wednesday. It's going to be 2 questions. One's going to be sine, one's going to be cosine, and you're going to have to fill in all the pieces of information I asked you. And then graph it. So there's the form when we add in the vertical shift. So C represents a vertical shift. A is still our amplitude. B still helps us find the period. And D is the phase shift. So we've handled all those except the vertical shift. So you might also see the vertical shift at the end, so like a plus C at the end. Alright. So the quiz is going to look something like this. I'm going to ask you to tell me all these things, and then I'll ask you to sketch the graph.
Imagine we missed something
So like if you miss the period, one, last one.
the entire thing is made up of 6 points.
That's right. So get them all. So the amplitude is still the number in front of sine, so our amplitude is 2. Period still 2 pi over b. B still the number in front of x. To find the start and the end of doing the same thing. Yeah. So I'll subtract pi over 2 from both sides. And then to get rid of the 2 in front of 2 in front of x, I'll divide everything by 2. That gives me negative pi over 4. And 3 pi over 4. Dividing by 2 is the same as multiplying by 1/2. So my start and my end. The interval is the period divided by 4.
When you oh, never mind. Yeah, like you see the second line, you know how yeah, and like it's started. I thought you were starting off with that. I was wondering how you got 3 pi 2, but then I saw the line on the top and I realized.
So the vertical shift, we're just going to go up or down. So the y values are going to change up or down. Vertical shift is negative 3. That means we're going to subtract 3 from all the y values after we handle the amplitude. So my recommendation is you create 3 y columns until you're perfectly comfortable with this.
It's negative 3 because that's the first thing that comes up there.
Yep. So I have my first y column that's going to be the original y values for sine, then 2 times y. That's going to handle the amplitude of 2, so I'll multiply the y values by 2. And then 2y minus 3, I'm going to subtract 3 from what I got in this column to handle the vertical shift. So I'll come back to x. Let's do y. Those are my original y values for one period of sine starting at the origin. To handle the amplitude, I multiply all those by 2. To handle the vertical shift, I take all of these that I just got and I subtract 3 from all of them. It's kind of ugly, eh? So those are the y values I'm going to use. And finding my x values is the same process we've been doing. My start, my end, my interval says to add pi over 4, so I get 0, then positive pi over 4, then 2 pi over 4, then 3 pi over 4.
to each interval you're adding.
Yep.
Do you have to graph the originals or no?
No. So we do everything the same. The only thing we add is that we're taking the vertical shift and either adding or subtracting, depending on its sign, to the y value. Vertical shift. Much easier than phase shift, right? You have a question?
Justin, what was your...
Where did you get stuff?
What was your max score?
Really? Maybe because you practiced it.
What was your overall
No,
score?
because the other one I got it was 14, but this one.
You didn't.
So let's try another one.
I really emphasize emphasis very much.
So
It always, it goes from like 20 to 0.
No. My phone.
Okay, so I did it.
I won't need it.
It is fine.
You don't need it.
yeah.
That's why I put red was all the way.
So everything's the same as we've been doing except for the vertical shift, which is +4, so we're going to add 4. So for the y's, I started with my cosine y's, multiplied by -3, and then I added 4 to get the y's I'm going to use.
That's okay.
Question.
I do. Wait, that. Listen. I can have them go. Just kidding.
So if you're stuck with sine or cosine, you have till Wednesday to figure it out before the quiz.
Yay! There you go.